Okay, so when we talk about dedicated circuits, and there's a lot of battery companies out at the moment advertising that they're selling really cheap batteries and they're designed to use for dedicated circuits. So, what I did when I first set this project up, we basically had everything up top there. Turn that off. But everything up top there on the batteries, so it all run from this inverter, and we had all these items down the bottom which basically run from the mains, which was basically, so we have solar hot water here in our home, and we also have a gas booster. So we don't actually have an electric hot water. If we had an electric hot water system, we would have had all our air cons plus our electric hot water. So we've got basically 3 air conditioners and a welder, which when we first set the system up, we run everything else from the batteries, and all this sort of stuff here was coming from the mains. So what we've done over time is we've actually tested these air conditioners, the 2 smaller air conditioners, and those 2 smaller air conditioners will run from the inverter. And this one big air conditioner, it's the only thing I've still got left, which is actually connected to the mains. So everything else here now is off-grid, we'll call it. It runs from batteries. And the one big air conditioner is actually still connected to mains. So that's what they call dedicated circuits. So like we were talking before, when we were talking about the Victron Multi-Plus inverter, all within inside that inverter, you could wire all this up to be on batteries, and that one circuit there, you could just wire that one circuit out, going into the power for that air conditioner, and that would only run from the mains. That all happen with inside the inverter. Where what I've done, I've actually all wired it in the back here. This is our grid switch down the bottom, which basically that grid switch that allows us to go back to the grid when we want. So at the moment we're on the grid, off the grid. When I flick it down like that, that actually takes us back to the grid. So it reconnects us to the grid, everything. So this one here always runs off grid, on grid, the air conditioner. It's always getting its power from the mains. Doesn't matter where that switch is. Everything else though either gets it from the batteries, from the inverter, or it gets it from the mains, depending where the switch is. So we'll flick that back there. So there's some tricky stuff that you can do. So if you really want to, and you just want to install a small solar system, and let's say you can actually, if you want to spend $10,000 and get yourself some good quality batteries, and a small inverter, you can just dedicate a few loads in your house. So you could do one power circuit. Maybe that power circuit just does your computers, your TVs, things like that, and your fridge. You could do all your lights. So if you've got all your lights, change to LED like we spoke about in the energy saving video. Keep all your lights energy efficient. You could just basically install a small solar system, and a couple of kilowatt hours of storage capacity. You could do your lights, your TVs, and a few computer power points, and a few light loads like that. And you can leave everything else, all your kettles, air conditioners, all those big grunty things, just leave them all connected to the grid, and just take a little bit of wiring in the back end here to get it right. But it can be done some tricky wiring in here, so you can install a system which you use lights, fridge all the time on batteries, and then you use your other stuff from the grid. So if you just want to install a small system, you can do that.